Welcome to the first Back to the City at MCN6 studio. I'm joined by my very good friend DIMITRY KILLSTORM.
Hey.
Welcome. Who tomorrow at the VFW is going to be releasing KILLSTORM on the Cut, which is one of my favorite records of the year so far.
Hey, thank you. Appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
you're welcome.
Thank you.
So who is going to be on the bill at the show tomorrow?
So let's see. We're opening up the night with a pop-up of auto-tune karaoke, which is
which you can perform at, actually.
Yes, you can sign up if you email singautotuneKaraoke@gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
You can sign up ahead of time. There's going to be limited spots, so we're going to kind of keep it minimum. But yeah,
I'm going to get mine in immediately.
You gotta sign up. I also stacked it with a couple of local musicians too, which I won't put that out quite yet, but should be cool.
I might see if Sean is up for doing the things that I wanted to do previously, maybe.
Oh, he might. We should talk about that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we're going to start off the night with auto-tune karaoke, and then going into Pilot Johnny.
Yep.
Who
is on your record.
Mm-hmm. He's on the record twice, actually. He's on the song Telephone. He opens the song Telephone. And then also he opens the album with the song Player, which we got a music video out for as well.
Which is awesome.
Yeah.
Filmed at the Guthrie.
Yep, exactly. And then after that, we're gonna have Jay Plaza's doing a set.
Also on the record.
Yep, he's on the song "Day I Die," featuring Jay Plaza, Baby Shell, and Student One. So yeah, he's gonna be doing a set, and then myself with special guests.
Yeah.
So yeah, gonna perform some of the songs off this album, some of the songs off my last album, various songs with other people's albums.
Yeah.
It's gonna be kind of a variety show type of thing, you know.
Yeah, so other people's albums include Better Days, which is John Anonymous, and then Whittier Alliance.
Yep.
I'm about to move to said neighborhood. So
Yep.
And it's your favorite.
It's my favorite neighborhood so far.
That was with Half Dozen.
But I like Northeast too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep. Half Dozen, and I put out Whittier Alliance.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And I hear that you have a new record with Half Dozen, more or less in the bag.
Yeah, it's pretty much finished, and just kind of waiting on getting it all ready to put out. But it's called Visceral, and it's produced entirely by myself, with the exception of one song, produced by Ant from Atmosphere, which is cool.
Which is cool.
It's really cool, yeah. He asked me, he's like, you mind if we do one song with this beat? And I was like, yeah, of course. That's great. Put it on the album, for sure. Yeah, that's hopefully going to come out this year.
Yeah.
I think we can probably make that happen.
You had Slug from Atmosphere on the first one.
Yep, we did, yep. I've got a couple songs with him, but yeah, he was on the song Tofu, which we also put out a music video for.
Yeah, and performed at the Nomad at the record release.
Yes, we did. Yeah, we did the Welcome to Minnesota tour with him and so we performed that song, or they performed that song pretty much every night on that tour. But in Minneapolis, we kind of did a surprise pop-up, had Slug come through and rap with us at the Nomad, which was pretty cool. So kind of a small venue for that artist, but it was cool.
The Nomad was also so something else that you do every Monday is you host Auto-Tune Karaoke.
Correct. Yeah.
Which began, I think, at the Nomad, or was at the Nomad.
It did,
with Lizzo.
With Lizzo and Sophia Aris.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So yeah, 2012 we started it at the Nomad, and yeah, Lizzo hosted. Sophia Aris was actually I pretty sure she learned how to DJ at Auto-Tune Karaoke. Like that was her. I want to say that was her first.
Yeah.
I think she got like a DJ controller so that she could DJ at Auto-Tune Karaoke, which she's obviously now gone on to do great things.
Yeah.
And
she's Lizzo's DJ.
She's Lizzo's DJ. She's the host of the morning show on Go 95.
Yeah. I love that there's a reference to Go 95 and KFII on the record.
There is, yeah. Yep, that's true. Freeze.
That is my favorite moment, I think.
Yep, I totally, I dig it. Well, on that subject, so I'm gonna put Freeze out there a little bit, whatever. He's the man, he'll think it's funny, I think. So in the song, he said something, he originally had put he said something like KFII or Go 93, whatever station. And I was like, yo, dude, it's Go 95, and I like those dudes. I thought he was trying to diss them.
Right.
And he was like, no, I just forgot what like he just missaid it.
His raps keep a better state than KFII or Go 93.5.
Whatever.
He still likes them though.
I mean, I guess, yeah, I don't know. Yeah, when he put that in there, I was like, oh, dude, I kind of like those dudes. I don't really want to throw shade at them. He was like, oh, I wasn't even trying to do that, man. I'm sorry.
You don't throw very much shade.
What's that?
You don't throw very much shade.
Me as a person
No,
in general?
You're a lovely person.
Thank you. No, I generally don't. I'm not afraid of like saying my opinion about things, but I'm trying not to like be like rude about it either.
Yeah.
You know?
We're kind of talking about respect now, and that's an interesting theme. Is that a coincidence that the idea of respect comes up quite a bit with the different rappers throughout the record?
I don't know that I noticed that.
Yeah.
On the album, you're saying?
Yeah, it does, yeah.
Oh.
Which is something that back when Better Days came out,
Yeah.
Sean told Rift magazine that the respect of the Twin Cities music scene was his favorite aspect of it. He was saying, he played so many other cities and there wasn't anything like the camaraderie that there is here. And I see that when you debuted Telephone at the Memory Lanes block party last year, and I took a video.
You got a video. Yep.
So exciting, like to have all of those rappers that like epitomize what he was talking about there, I think.
Totally.
That camaraderie.
I dig that, yeah. I guess I don't even think I even really noticed that, but yeah. We do have a really, I'd say it's pretty tight-knit in the hip-hop scene specifically.
Yeah.
People are friendly with each other generally, and want to see each other succeed.
On the one hand, that is epitomized in Telephone, I think, and the sense of joy that comes about. For example, when Chance finishes his really fun bars regarding to his sneakers being dirty because it's raining.
Right.
Then Sean, highlights, I'm Sean, that guy was Chance. It's such a nice, respectful, joyful feel.
Well, that was kind of the whole idea about the song. That's why it's called Telephone, because I don't know if you ever played the game Telephone when you were a kid, where you would say something and whisper it into someone's ear, and then they would repeat it, and it would kind of like distort over. So throughout the song, all the rappers reference something that the previous rapper said, or their cadence or something, so it's like they kind of pick up off of them. And that was like the whole kind of idea when we made the song. Like it was cool. It was a fun day. That was one of my favorite studio sessions that I've ever probably been in. Just it was kind of like a party. Yeah.
Were there any details of it that particularly?
Well, no. I mean, we went to Stop House Studios and shout out Dylan Parker.
Yeah.
He also mastered the album.
Yeah.
And he's just like a great mentor and good dude.
Yeah.
But we went to his studio. We went to Stop House and. I pretty much invited a bunch of people. I kind of had talked to a bunch of people ahead of time about like this idea, and so I got a friend who hooked me up with a bunch of Fulton. Shout out Fulton. And so we basically just had a bunch of beer and a bunch of rappers at the studio, and it was already like that was the plan, was to make this song. But people just kind of wrote it on the fly because it's not something we didn't know who was gonna go first or second. Like it wasn't like there was a planned out order of it.
Yeah.
It was like just kind of like a party in a studio, sort
like
of.
the game of Telephone.
Yeah, and I remember I was like, who wants to go first? And Pilot Giant was like, I will. Yeah. And like he freestyled his verse and then did ad libs, and that was it. Like it was like 15 minutes tops, and then Cashinova was like, I don't know, I think he had to go pick up his kids or something like that, and so he was like, I'll go next.
How did you select the beats for that?
For that one?
Yeah, knowing that would be the one that had this kind of, because it's not like an intense kind of like party vibe.
Yeah.
It's quite kind of chill.
Well, I just kind of felt like it would work. I don't know. I just thought it was like it's sort of like a posse cut beat, and I kind of like accidentally have made a lot of posse cuts in my like I feel like that's a good thing. But like I had Royals that has 4 rappers on it.
Yes.
I did a song called Shameless that has 4 rappers on it. Now this one I was like, all right, let's go for 10. I think there's 10 rappers on it. I remember when I was telling people about it, I was like, don't worry, this is not gonna be like a 15-minute long song. Like I don't want it to be like, I'm not trying to break a Guinness. That wasn't my idea, wasn't to do like the longest song with the most rappers. Yeah. I just was like, wouldn't it be cool if everybody spit like 8 bars or so, like short verses back to back, and kind of picked up off the other person, just kind of moved through it.
And it encapsulates the essence of this hip hop scene in a way that, that very few single songs are able to.
Well, I feel like just like taking the opportunity, it's like, I was like, this is a really good idea, somebody should do it. And I was like, I have the opportunity to do it. Like, it's same with like auto-tune karaoke. I was like, I came up with the idea, and I was like, somebody should auto-tune you at karaoke. And I was like, I have the capabilities of doing this. Why am I like, instead of like just having this be an idea, like, just make it happen. And at the time, Lizzo with auto-tune karaoke had time and was into it, but obviously she does not have time for that anymore.
Why doesn't Lizzo prioritize that anymore?
I mean, I don't know. Lizzo, you can come through anytime,
important.
every Monday at Mortimer's.
Yeah, exactly.
I wouldn't be surprised if someday
Lizzo?
she made a cameo.
Yeah.
I still see her when she comes into town sometimes. So.
Lovely. Yeah.
See, but yeah.
Of course, you're homies.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, man, the telephone joint turned out great, and like I said, I just kind of want to put cool ideas together if it's like something unique, and I'm like, I could do it. Why not? Try something different.
Especially the way that you're describing it now with that kind of telephone game component. It's an interesting contrast to the theme, at least, of the song Rotate. Because in the Rotate, it's almost like the opposite.
Sure.
There's these moments of recognition that, maybe there isn't that respect. Could you talk a bit about the development of that song, and do you agree that kind of thematically it's almost like exploring the opposite end of a spectrum?
Sure. Yeah, definitely didn't even notice that either. Well, so part of it is like I didn't write any of the lyrics.
Yeah, of course.
So it's not like I was like, I didn't come to Buddha and say, hey, write a song about this.
Yeah.
I showed him some beats, he picked one out, and we made a song together, and it was kind of like, this makes the album. It was sort of the process of how, generally how I made the project. So it wasn't like I was like, I want to have a song about how we aren't fucking with other people. How we don't like, you know what I mean? It wasn't like a conscious thing.
Yeah,
but
it's a nice coincidence.
Buddha Tai is just an OG. He's a little bit older than me. He's like kind of a streetwise dude. And he comes from an era that is a little bit less forgiving of he said, I'm about to take it back to the days of snatching mics. People used to do that. If you were whack on stage at the Dinky Towner, I remember I heard about Freeze did that. He's on the album. Freeze apparently took someone's mic out of their hand, just walked on stage and was like, you suck.
Great.
I saw somebody do that I saw Bobby Raps do that at Honey one night to somebody, which was great. But anyway, so he's kind of I think some of these guys that are maybe in their late 30s or older, or not even late 30s, just people who are kind of the mindset of the golden era, the previous generation. Yeah, they're kind of feeling what the fuck happened to my culture, and so they're kind of I feel like I'm sort of where J. Cole's Middle Child song is about. I'm right in the middle. I was looking up to dudes like Buddha Tai and Mujay Masai and all these dudes that are now on the album, but then there's also younger dudes that look up to me that are sort of in the middle of the two generations, I guess. I kind of just wanted to make sure that my album had that side too, though, for it as well. And he's just, like I said, his voice is great, and I've been wanting to work with him since I heard his voice on I Self Divine project in 2005, I want to say, and I was like, who is this dude? It's great. And so then I got to meet him just through I don't know, I want to say just both through music stuff, but through Greg Grease and the Astro Black crew and them. So I think was kind of where I started more to see him around.
Oh, nice that you have DJ Just 9 on that. So how did you collaborate with
He's an old friend of mine too. I want to put scratches on a song with a rapper that is kind of talking about that type of content.
Yeah,
but still on a beat that has like more kind of synthesizers and more sort of modern, like it has 808s. It's not like a boom back 90s throwback song. It's like a new song in the style of that kind of
combine the old with the new.
Right, exactly. Which brings us to our next, it's a great segue.
Which is a lyric.
Yeah, exactly.
Back in With Your Alliance.
Yep.
And the song is called Brand New Nostalgia. Yeah.
Yep.
So I think that's always been a component of your beat making. Is that fair to say? This hybridity, and not being scared to put components together that wouldn't normally go together, because as that song highlights, that's how music evolves.
Totally.
That's how genres come into being.
Yeah.
So what would you say, looking at this new record, looking at KILLSTORM on the Cut, what would you say are some classic DIMITRY style, because I'm kind of quoting The Time Is Now.
Oh, sure, yeah.
There's a reference in that one to classic DIMITRY style. Which components are the classic DIMITRY style to begin with, and then what are some new components that are integrated into this new record?
I would say, if I had to guess what Freeze was talking about in that line you're referencing,
Sure.
I would say I've worked with Freeze. I've known him for at least 10 years or so, and we kind of all came up in the same era of crews, and I would say like my beats for sure used to be very like aggressive and kind of sample oriented and kind of anthems. Like if you hear it Better Days, a lot of songs, even just the title track Better Days is very like an anthem, you know, and like that's sort of maybe what I was kind of more known for.
And my favorite, Big Bang.
Big Bang, totally. Big Bang is on that same type of, and Shameless, that was like the first thing I ever worked on with Slug and Half Dozen.
I think even more so on Wide Eyes too. It's quite, it's very kind of loud and kind of
and I just kind of like, I like stuff like that. I just, you know, like, I don't know, I still like it. I like horns, I like kind of bold sounds and stuff, but I feel like also just in my age, I'm not that even all that, but I've kind of liked more like chirpy, quieter sounds and stuff too. I've gotten more into like
on this record.
I've kind of gotten into more like liquidy, try to more dreamy kind of sounds and stuff, and not necessarily so like punch you in the face.
Yeah, Jane epitomizes that, I think.
Yeah, definitely.
There's like with the, it's evoking rain as well.
Totally. I would say of all the songs, that one, Jane, probably is the best example of combining like old and new stuff together. In my opinion. Well, for one, Zach Coulter, who's the singer of the band Solid Gold, he's in Gangs, he's been on a bunch of great projects, so definitely check him out if you haven't already. But he's got like kind of the song's kind of haunting in a way, and he's singing kind of high pitched with like very heavily affected and kind of auto-tune
That's
vocals.
a new feature, I think.
Yeah, but it's on like a drum. The drums are like drum break and kind of grainy, like you said, lo-fi. Yeah. And then Muja Messiah rapping on it. It's like, I don't know if Muja and Zach would have maybe ever been in the same you know, room. Maybe they would, probably have actually, but like
it's only on
the
this
same
record
song,
that this collab would happen.
And that's goes kind of back to what I was saying before. It's like I had this idea, and I'm like, I do have access to that. Like I do have access to those people, and like, I mean, worst case, I'll ask them when they say they don't want to do it, but like, I do know Zach and I do know Muja, and I don't know that I feel like it's like perfect for me to kind of combine them and get them in the studio together, you know? Yeah. So I think that, that song kind of, it sounds old and new at the same time, in my opinion. And actually, when I sent the song, originally it just had Zach's vocals on the song, or on the beat, and I sent it to Muja to see if he wanted to get on it. And he was like, immediately was like, yes. And his exact response was that it reminded him of Radiohead mixed with Mobb Deep.
It reminds me of Quartets,
like
which were a big influence on Kid A Radiohead.
Oh, okay.
Especially the slow descending.
Cool.
What instrument is that?
I think it's if I'm thinking of, it's a delayed guitar. Like it's like a strum, like kind of guitar. But then I just put like a delay that sort of rolls back on itself until so it kind of sounds like one long sound.
Yeah. So Kid A era Radiohead.
Sure.
It does sound like that to me too.
Yeah. When he said that, I was like, totally. And the drums the drums specifically remind me of like something you'd hear like Mobb Deep rapping. So I was like, that's cool. Yeah. All right.
There's a music video that's been shot for that.
Yep.
Coming out pretty soon.
Probably going to be out within a month, probably.
Yeah.
I'm going to kind of let the album come out first. I don't want to drop too much out and flood and confuse everybody. So I'm going to let the album drop, and then maybe a couple weeks later I'll put the video out.
Filmed at good old Mortimer's,
Yep.
Oliver's Bar.
Yep, exactly. Yep, it's in Oliver's Bar. Just kind of highlights a lot of the cool like lighting and the stained glass there and stuff. So.
Yeah. So let's focus a bit more on the vocal effects. So it's beautifully kind of haunting what you're doing with Zach from Solid Gold's vocals on that. Sean's main hook as well on The Time Is Now. There's a similar kind of haunting, kind of timeless effect. It's interesting how those production decisions are kind of drawing out these different ways of thinking about time, timeliness and timelessness in that song. Speaking of the process for Better Days, Sean highlighted how at a certain, initially it was going to be an EP. Yeah?
Yep.
And then the two of you just carried on working on material, which then the two of you preferred, is that right? To some of the earlier stuff?
Yes, correct. We ended up kind of scrapping. Yeah, so I made the beat that has a sample in it that says Better Days, and it has this anthem. So originally we were going to just make like an EP of like anthems.
Like 54 Bison. Yeah.
But actually, 54 Bison wasn't. That was kind of a newer one. Just sort of happened to also be sort of an anthem. But
that fit in. Yeah.
There was a couple of songs that just didn't really. After we would add new ones, and then we'd say, oh, those old ones kind of suck now. And so we just kind of started adding new ones and taking old ones off until eventually it was like,
feeling.
well, and then it kind of turned into, sort of made shape. It kind of took shape. It wasn't even, because I wouldn't say it was a joke or anything, but originally Better Days wasn't like that serious. The content wasn't.
Right. And then it's dealing with all of the hardest things.
And then it did become really kind of serious, and which kind of is interesting because it's like about better days, and it's kind of like a, times can be rough, but there's better days ahead, sort of, and that's sort of how the vibe of that album sounds, and like Sean's like lyrical content too. But yeah, originally it was just like, hey, let's make a bunch of bangers and put it out and call it Better Days, and then once we started like being like, okay, let's take it serious, we actually did take it serious and turned it into more of like a memoir of a sort,
Yeah, and the vibe becomes a lot more introspective.
Definitely, which I think kind of just my beats sort of take that. Take people in that direction because Half Dozen's album is super introspective and storytelling. I don't know if you've taken a listen to that, but
of course,
I mean, he's talked about a lot of subjects about his life and his past, and I think people just the sound my beats are either like people want to make like a rising fist anthem, or they want to like talk about some serious, some serious that happened in their life,
It's a nice broad palette.
Totally, yeah. Those, usually, I've noticed they kind of either go in one of two directions. I'm waiting for somebody to make party music. I guess I need to make a party beat, maybe.
Well, so if you've explored both of those directions with Sean before, and then in the previous full-length project, Better Days Between the Two of You, it becomes evident midway through that it's more of an introspective piece, and that's determining the beats that you're giving him from that moment on. He was saying with that, there was less like in-studio collaboration because it did get more introspective, so he'd be working on determining what the vocals would be on his own. What was the working process with Sean, your long-term collaborator, for this?
We did work. Actually, I was going to say on Better Days, we did work a lot in the studio too. Some of the more like personal songs, I think he did record like just by himself. But we were in the studio many hours together also. So I think depending on the song, and probably a lot more than mixing and stuff after the fact. But as for this album, Sean's obviously a good friend of mine and an old friend of mine, and also a long-term collaborator of mine. With Telephone, I had probably told him about the idea, just maybe sitting and having a beer together or something, probably months before actually ending up actually reaching out to anybody else.
Yeah.
So like a lot of times I like an idea like that, or auto-tune karaoke, I'll bounce that type of idea off of him first and get kind of a temperature of if it's a good idea or what kind of input he might have. So we worked on
the beat battle idea, which is your
that's my idea. That was me. That was all me.
He's got Party Ox, you've got that.
Right. But I was gonna say with the song "Time Is Now," so that song originally I had made a sample, or I had made a beat using that sample. I want to say 2009, 10, that Sean tried something with, but it like just kind of all of it fell short. I don't think Sean was feeling the beat because the beat was kind of falling short, and so therefore whatever he wrote just. I don't think we ever ended up recording it or something like that. But I always kind of liked that song, and I wanted to like revisit it. Yeah. So then when I remade it, I completely started over, but using the same samples, and then
including the vocal sample, "The Time Is Now."
Yep. Yeah. And then he kind of emulated that and riffed off of it. But the sample that's in the background of the verses and stuff, I had that kind of sitting around for maybe 10 years. So when I redid it, I was like, Sean, you should get on this, but we should have you just on the hook and have, so we kind of, and he was like down to get kind of experimental with that one because it is more of a singy part for him. He doesn't really rap on it. He's just singing.
Say, it's quite different from work that you've done previously.
Well, Sean has kind of started singing a lot more too. On the new album, his new album, I should say, a lot of the songs have a lot more singing
or
melodic.
At live shows,
and I like it a lot.
Yeah, me too.
I think he's really good. I think he's getting better at it too, and so it's just kind of fits his natural projection. It doesn't sound like it's like forced or anything. But yeah, so that one he kind of came through, and we just experimented with vocoders and different kinds of sound effects and or vocal effects and stuff to kind of make him sound. I kind of wanted it to sound sort of like Daft Punk-ish or like robotic kind of, you know.
Yeah.
And then for Telephone, he just was one of the dudes in the studio, like
Yeah,
I had mentioned earlier, like
Yeah.
he was one of the 10 people that could make it and were interested, showed up, and so yeah, he just picked up. Actually, his verse in Telephone, his intro is maybe my favorite on that song. The way where he the beat cuts out and he drops in with the Elvis Presley line, which I don't want to give it away. You should listen to it, but it's funny and I like it. I dig it. It energizes the song like about halfway through it. It kind of just like re-energizes the song.
Very humorous.
Yep, totally.
And a good kind of the best kind of tag team Telephone moment from Chance to Sean there.
Totally. Yep. Exactly.
I like that the time was not now, for time is now. 10 years ago.
I suppose, yeah. I didn't even think about that.
No,
yeah,
time is now
totally.
For it. And it's interesting how it kind of speaks to, because of course there's the song Timeless near the end of Better Days.
Mm-hmm.
So it's interesting how the two of you are kind of returning both to an initially discarded idea and finding the time for it.
Interesting.
And also speaking not of timelessness, but of, I think there's a focus on kind of being fully in the present.
Interesting.
Well,
as you were saying that too, I just remembered back to the album Hands Tied. We had a song called "Borrowed Time." That was our signature. That was our lead single off that album too. We had a music video for it too.
And you have Carpe Diem.
So it's kind of Carpe Diem,
which is all about seizing the day.
Man, I didn't even notice this.
And in Hands Tied, it's hard to hold the sands of time when your hands are tied.
Yeah, I didn't even think about it. I didn't even notice.
The timeless
I guess
theme
I'm like, I don't even wear a watch either. It's timeless.
But the time is now, especially with all of that production and the Daft Punk kind of effect on the vocals.
Yeah.
It's doing something quite different with time. I think it really is facilitating as more of a sense of being in the moment and of being, just of being.
Yeah.
Is that something that you're going for? As our time is nearly up.
Yeah. To be honest, I guess I hadn't noticed it. Maybe I need to look into my subconscious a little bit and kind of.
Yours and Sean's.
Maybe. Yeah. I mean, we have known each other a long time, and maybe it's just one of those things that everybody can relate to. Like everybody has time.
Well, his lyrics there in the chorus, "Time is now, I've been waiting for this all my life." There's this kind of letting go, which happens at other times on the record too, in Give It Up, giving it up to the gods. So, let go, let God.
That's another theme,
Yeah.
Interesting.
Surrendering. And
I think that also might just be something about being a rapper too, like the guys who wrote these, maybe they're just, you kind of have to sort of surrender yourself a little bit to the public in a way, like you're exposing your thoughts and your performance alone, but also just like if you're writing lyrics about even if it's not a song about some particular subject, you're still exposing yourself as like, it's still like opening your journal. And that's why I don't like to be. That's why I'm not a rapper, because I don't want to expose myself that much.
And here we are exposing Sean, exploring everyone's subconscious.
Definitely, yeah.
From the safety of our TV studio.
Exactly. Hey, and that's the other thing too, is I don't have to be responsible for anything, because I didn't say anything. It's just if you have a problem with the snares or the hi-hats, you can come talk to me. Everything else is on them. Yeah.
And we've done a fair amount of talking about snares and hi-hats, and about other people's lyrics, and the connection between the two. Like I said, it's one of my favorite records of the year so far, so I'm excited for tomorrow.
Appreciate that. Thank you. I'm excited. For the spring. I'm excited to have a new album out. I got some cool things in the works for the summer.
Yep, the Half Dozen record.
Hopefully that's out. That's probably gonna be my next focus, is getting that pushed out. So we gotta, because it's good and it's ready. So
2019 is going to be a good year for classic DIMITRY style hip hop.
I like that, and that's gonna see now that you mentioned that, I'm like, I'm gonna make a beat tape called Classic DIMITRY Style Beats. Watch, I'm serious.
Nice.
I'm going to. I think
look forward to it.
I like
Next time we can talk about it.
Right. Yeah. I'll drop that next year maybe or something.
Awesome. Well, thank you very much
Thank you.
Thank you, DIMITRY, for joining us. Thank you, viewers, for joining us. Come and join us and sing with us with Autotune tomorrow at the VFW for the record release of KILLSTORM. Not Brainstorm, but KILLSTORM.
Not since the early 2000s.
On the cut. I'm Simon Calder. This has been Back to the City, and we'll see you next Thursday. Yes.